We have some more breaking news from the NHL. We have more activity on the NHL waiver wire. The Bruins have lost Johnny Beecher on waivers, plus Leafs GM Brad Treliving has spoken to the media today and kind of taken on a lot of the blame for their lack of success. We'll discuss the waiver claim and his comments coming up next. So welcome back to another video here at Top Shelf Hockey. As I mentioned, we have some breaking news from the NHL, and we have some comments from GM Brad Treliving of the Maple Leafs to look at. The breaking news is that we have a waiver claim. We have the Boston Bruins had Johnny Beecher on waivers, a former first-round pick from 2019. The 24-year-old centerman has been claimed by the Calgary Flames. Now, of course, waiver activity when it comes to putting in a claim goes by the standings, and the Flames are at the bottom, so nobody is really getting by the Flames right now if they want to put in a claim to claim a player like that. There was some speculation that other teams like Montreal, Vancouver, some other teams that have some issues at their center depth right now, mainly due to injuries, might also be interested, but it never really got to the point that he would have been available to them. They could have also put in a claim, but we'll never really know that. At this point, though, Beecher will go from Boston to Calgary, where he'll have an opportunity to play. He only appeared in 6 games so far this year for the Boston Bruins, putting up 1 goal. Like I said, former first-round pick, played college hockey. He's got some pretty good wheels on him. He's been kind of a fringe player through the Bruins system here. Hasn't quite, turned out to be what they had hoped on a consistent basis. So we'll see if a change in scenery and a different team and different coach and different line mates will do him some good. So Johnny Beecher now is officially a member of the Calgary Flames. As I mentioned, Leafs GM Brad Treliving spoke to the media today. I know we found out sometime yesterday that he was going to do that this morning. And a lot of people were thinking it could be something significant. They were saying, I've seen all these rumors on social media. Could it be a coaching change? Could we find out maybe Matthews' injury is significantly worse and he's going to be out a long time? No, actually a lot of teams, I know the ones in Canada at least, I'm not sure about all NHL teams, but a lot of GMs speak to the media about 4 times a year on average. It's kind of like every quarter mark of the season. I know a lot of other GMs I saw do the same sort of thing. So I didn't really expect anything earth-shattering out of Treliving. Just kind of trying to address the where the team is at, and the case right now where they're struggling and not getting the results that they want. I think it was an opportunity for him to kind of come out and kind of address publicly what the issue is to try to help the team move forward. Essentially, a few of the comments, and I'll go into this probably a little bit deeper in my next video, but essentially the Brad Treliving comments starts off the press conference by taking ownership and basically saying that the team is not where they want to be or where they envision to be, and that's on him. He takes full responsibility as the lead or the head of the hockey operations department, so he's taking full responsibility for that. He was fully asked and given a chance to speak on head coach Craig Berube, who he says he fully still believes in. He said he believes that in Craig and his messaging, and he said when he talks to players on the team, they believe in it too. One of the, I think, comments to me that kind of stuck out the most as far as his take on the lack of success was that there's too much vanilla in their game. So, I mean, obviously that's an indictment on the players for the most part. I think that he kind of believes in, and Berube is a coach, I think he believes in the philosophy and style of play that Berube wants his team to do. And they're not doing it. To me, in my honest opinion, I don't see that the Leafs players want to play the style that they're really trying to do. And then you combine that with the fact that they've had some injuries on top of that, which is never, it's not an excuse for any team because every team has to deal with it. But, it makes things more challenging for sure. And then on top of that, the blue line hasn't been quite the same. Some people point to the fact they have a new D coach this year. But realistically, they were a top 10 defensive team last year. They had, a pretty good result. Mostly the same personnel. They're not going to just completely change everything, right? And a lot of it, I've seen some people say, they're just not playing well. And they don't have a young blue line by any means. They're not super old either, but, could they just be... Is it a case maybe you're getting some regression here at the same time? Too many guys falling into that category? It's kind of hard to say, but essentially, to summarize, He takes responsibility because he constructed the roster. He still believes in the coach. Too much vanilla. He said at the end of the day in this business, with the way things are right now with the Leafs, you can't trade your way out of this. And like I've said before, talking with some Leafs trade rumors, he's not wrong. Like, you don't want to trade future assets because you don't have many of them. You've got Easton Cowan, looks like a good prospect. You want to hang on to him. You got Ben Danford, looks like he might be a good D prospect. You want to hang on to him. You don't have much in the cupboard that way. You've moved a lot of assets, a lot of first-round picks, a lot of prospects in the last 5 to 10 years because you're trying to go for it. And I get that. They were in win-now mode. They had a good group to build around. They were making the playoffs consistently. I don't think anybody will really ever fault them for going forward as much as they did. It's the fact that they didn't ultimately have more playoff success or win a Stanley Cup. That's, obviously what people are going to point to, right? And you make all those moves hoping that's going to happen. And then when it doesn't, and then you start to regress or you take a step back, that's when people suddenly change their minds on things or they point their fingers and this, that, and the other thing. And, well, it's just the state of where things are at. It's just a fact. Like, they don't have a lot of assets. And they don't want to move a core player. They already lost Marner in the offseason. So they don't want to move Nylander. They don't want to move Matthews. They don't want to move Tavares, and they don't want to move Nines. Those are what most people consider their core group right now. But the problem is, like everybody's been saying, and Treliving basically said this without saying it, that if you look at all the other guys, they're all struggling. The value's not very good. Who are they going to trade in a roster move? Because we've heard Elliotte Friedman say they want to make hockey trades, roster player for roster player. They're not looking to move a bunch of future stuff, to do that. They're not looking to sell off assets to gain future stuff. They want to keep this window open. They want to improve. So, you're looking at swapping this guy on my team for this guy on your team, and hopefully the change of scenery helps out. But that's the thing, is there's not many guys playing to the level right now in the Leafs that other teams are going to be interested in based on how they're playing. The one name that's been consistently in trade rumors, and it's kind of weird how it's worked out, was Nick Robertson. And now they're at a point, because of injuries and the poor play of some other guys, that Nick Robertson is a guy that they absolutely need to keep now. He's actually played pretty decent. He's one of the few guys contributing outside of the core group. So you really can't afford to trade Nick Robertson now. They didn't want to give him away before, and it's not to say that they were trying to, but they didn't want to trade him before unless they got what they wanted in a deal. It never came. Now it's almost a blessing in a way, because if that deal would have worked out to bring in a player who wasn't producing, they'd be even worse off right now. It's actually worked out to be quite a godsend in that sense that he's playing well for them, and I think they need to keep him now. And that's good for him personally, but there's just not much value there. So can they trade their way out of it? No. I'm not saying there won't be trades involving the Leafs. They're going to look at a lot of things. Treliving made it pretty clear that they need to improve on basically all areas. They're looking at the forward group. They're looking at the decor. They're looking at the goaltending. They are looking at everything and feels that they need to get better in all aspects. And for the most part, he's right, especially on the defensive side of the puck. So they're definitely working on making some trades. There's no doubt. They are looking for roster moves. It's just going to prove to be a little bit more difficult, and nobody's going to throw them a lifeline here. And at the same time, as Elliotte Friedman has said, a lot of teams right now haven't decided what they are. There's lots of chatter, lots of speculation about some of the weaker teams on this guy could be available, that guy could be available. But a lot of the availability hasn't really been made official yet. Teams haven't fully decided, okay, are we going to sell assets off? We're going to punt on the season because we know it's not going well. Teams are still feeling that out and not knowing where they're at. So we haven't hit the point in the year where you get more activity. I think we're still probably a couple of weeks away from seeing that. So we will see. But interesting comments nonetheless. What are the Leafs going to do? Let me know what you think in the comments, and we'll discuss further. If you're new to the channel, of course, make sure you subscribe and stick around. We'll keep you up to date with the latest news, rumors, and analysis of all 32 NHL teams. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.